When it comes to making your makeup last, the struggle is real. The truth is though, you really don't need to buy long-wearing products to make your makeup last. In fact, if you just use some techniques that we're gonna show you, things like moisturizing, priming, setting, you can take all of your favorite products that you love and use all the time and make them last for you all day long. I'm David with the Sephora Pro Team.
And I'm Amy.
And in this video, we're gonna show you how to make your makeup last. So the important thing with moisturizers is choosing the correct one. And usually that comes down to making sure that you're utilizing a day moisturizer.
Yeah.
So nighttime moisturizers tend to be a lot heavier. That's when you really want stuff to get absorbed into the skin, and they're gonna pretty much make your makeup slip and slide. So daytime moisturizers are lighter, and they're much better and much more suitable for makeup. So there's a lot of good choices out there. Lancome has Energy de Vie, which is a really good hydrating moisturizer. Belif also has Moisture Balm. Again, suitable for makeup, good hydration, but it won't make the makeup move around too much. For me personally, because I tend to have a little bit oilier skin, I use a day cream by Amore Pacific. It's the Moisture Bond Gel versus like an oil-based moisturizer. Gels tend to be much lighter and much better suited for oily skin. And this information goes just as much for the face as it does for the eyes. A good eye cream, Rose Gel from Fresh, super good, hydrating, but it's a gel cream. What about you? What's your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite that I use on a daily basis is from Ulla Henriksen. It's the Truth Revealed Day Cream. I love it, one, because it has an SPF. Two, it has vitamin C in it, and that's something that I personally want as far as the skincare benefit goes. But I love that it's really lightweight because it's my day cream.
Yeah. So when it comes to applying it, less is more. So I'd say a good rule of thumb is just take your finger, dip it in, get probably the size of a nickel, and that's pretty good for the whole face.
You also want to make sure that you massage it in until it completely absorbs. Usually about like 30 seconds, so you don't feel it on the surface of the skin.
Yeah.
One of the most common ingredients in a moisturizer is an alpha hydroxy acid. Two of the most common of those are lactic acid and glycolic acid. And it's great that it's in there.
Yeah.
They're in there in really small amounts to just help soften your skin and prep for the next step. It's great. So that's why you have to allow it to absorb into the skin, because if they sit on the surface, your next step in primer could possibly react to it, repel, and start to ball up.
Ball up, yeah. So I think Amy makes a really good point. If you're using an oil-based moisturizer, let's say, and a water-based primer or foundation, and you put them back to back, they may start to react to each other because oil and water, they just don't sit well, they separate. So give it a moment to sink in before you move to that next step. A primer is intended to go onto the skin, smooth it out a little bit, but really hold that makeup in place and create a smudge-proof effect. There are a lot of additional effects that you can get with primers. They can moisturize, they can mattify.
They can refine pores, they can smooth out texture, fine lines and wrinkles, color correction.
So there's a lot of good choices out there. So like one of the classics is Smashbox. Smashbox has a wardrobe of primers for all award-winning of all the concerns you can have, from color correcting, skincare, everything. We also have things like Invisibler from Murad, which is a great way to incorporate skincare, priming, SPF all in one. So, I mean, literally this is a one-step kind of thing for you. It's very easy. Too Faced has a really good one out right now. It's a coconut water primer, which is super hydrating. I mean, great for the skin. So my personal favorite when it comes to primers is the Hourglass Veil Primer. And the reason I like this one myself is just because it's an oil-free mineral primer. And as somebody, guys tend to have a little bit more oily skin, it's great to use a primer for that specific skin type. And when it comes to the amount you want to use, I'd say one pump is probably sufficient.
And I think it just depends on the formula that you're using too. I mean, that's a really lightweight,
very lightweight,
very liquidy feeling kind of formula. I know my favorite is from Cover Effects. It has more of a silicone base to it, so I use it only in the areas that I need it. So I have a little bit of fine lines here, I have a little bit of texture with a larger pore size, so all I use is a tiniest little bit, probably about the size of a pea, and I just press it in. and then swipe it on. Little tiny bit goes a long way. If I start to go in a circular motion, again, it can start collecting with each other and start balling up.
So also with primers, you have your eyes, which is really important to have a primer specifically for your eyes. I love the Kat Von D Lock-It eye primer. Why do I need an eye primer? Sometimes people's eyelids can be oily, their brow bones can be dry. You know, you can have a powder, like a shadow powder that just adheres differently, you know, and then you're like, oh, I can't blend this. It's like a pain, and then it's smearing and it's smudging because you have oils. A primer goes on and creates just like a perfect canvas. And it just makes the application smooth. It makes that shadow really stick to the skin and last evenly. So it's gonna last just as much on the brow as it does on the lid. It's super important. This is a really key product, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, one of my favorites that I use is from Too Faced. It's really, really thin and clear. So as soon as I put it on my lids, and I can actually use it underneath so it doesn't look drying, it's not a little too opaque, and it really helps to hold the color all day long.
Putting a primer on your lips is just the best way to ensure that that lipstick is gonna stick and stay there where you want it, especially if you spend a lot of time to make that line so perfect. I like stuff like No Bleeding Lips. This is almost like a lip liner and a primer in one. So the product looks like a lip liner, but it's actually clear, which is really cool. So you can go over the lip and you can go slightly outside of the lip. Whatever you put on, it's just gonna lock it onto the lips and keep it from feathering, bleeding, smudging, smearing, all that stuff. I really do love the No Bleeding Lips.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones too is from Bite Beauty. It's a lip primer. I also can use it as a lip balm. And what I love is I use it all over the lip, and I can use it around the lip because I started seeing first signs of aging, the little fine lines around my lip line, that my lip color would bleed into my lip. It's made with beeswax. The wax actually blocks the pigment from going up into my skin.
It's like a little barrier.
It is. It's like building a little barrier for the pigment to just stay exactly where I put it. What I also love about this one too, because I'm all about skincare benefits, is that it has an antioxidant called resveratrol, which is anti-aging. And so while your makeup is lasting, you're also getting an anti-aging treatment.
So for me, the most important thing is the setting powder. Now, my personal favorite is the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. It looks like a very pale color, and everyone goes, oh, can I use that? Is it the right color for me? It doesn't look like my skin tone. There is actually no pigments in this. What a setting powder does is basically when you are done with your makeup, it's gonna go on your face and it's gonna find any type of moisture that's there and lock everything in place. So this is to be used by everyone. All over the face.
Yeah, and you know, there's other powders that are out there as well. I particularly like a finishing powder after my setting powder. So I set my makeup in place and absorb all of the oils or moisture that's left on my skin. And then maybe I want more of a mattifying effect, or maybe I want more of a brightening effect, or maybe even possibly I have some texture here, which usually happens. So I want something to give me a blurring effect, and that's what finishing powders are for. One of my favorites is from NARS. It's a finishing powder, and it gives me more of a brightening effect and blurs any kind of texture that I have on my skin. So you want to be really strategic with a finishing powder.
And don't forget, a finishing powder is not a substitute for a setting powder. The finishing powder will not set makeup. So when you're done with that setting and finishing step, there is one final step that can really lock your makeup in. I mean, hold it in place, and that's your setting sprays. So there's a lot of brands out there. Kat Von D has the Lock-It setting spray, really works well, holds that makeup in place. Me personally, I really do like the Super Goop Rosemary Mist setting spray. I just like saying that. It's good for oily skin because it has a mattifying finish plus an SPF.
This is something that I have used for years. This is the All-Nighter setting spray from Urban Decay. What I love about it is that it literally makes my makeup stay on all night long.
It does, it really
So
does.
I use setting sprays for brides or anyone that's going on a special occasion, you know, maybe a high school reunion. So how I use it is I make sure that I prime it first to make sure that you're getting a nice soft mist. And I hold it about 6 inches away from my face, and I use the mist. You don't want to get too close, because when you get too close, it can actually leave spots and start to drip, and then it'll set like that. Just let the mist fall on the skin and you're good to go.
And don't forget, if you want some one-on-one advice, stop by a local Sephora, have a consultation with your beauty experts, and don't forget to check out all the other how-to videos by Sephora on YouTube.